行くぞやろうでもビルプップルプビバビバラププビプババリバビラド Oh, press the E button, please. Skip this asinine cutscene. Hey, Ollie! 久しぶりですね、アリ。元気ですか? Right, we gotta hit up the focus center. I forgot we ended the stream on low PP and I didn't go fill it up. Oops. Oopsie. Oh, I gotta turn on our tracker too. There we go. Awesome. PP low indeed. I gotta go poke on my center until I PP, you know? Alright, we're gonna go grab that now unless a brilliant spawns. Or another Wooloo. I could be convinced to take on another Wooloo. How have you been, Ollie? Miss you. We did a 4-hour stream yesterday. Alright, Wooloo, I gotta go get PP. I'll come back for you, I promise. Don't be the shiny. Please. Don't have been the shiny and I just walked away from you. Don't do it to me. Right now the odds are heavily stacked in Squovet's favor for shiny, as we have taken out more than twice as many Squovet than any other of the potential starters we're going for. But I'm optimistic. We're only going to be going for like 2 hours today, because I want to do other stuff before bed. And it's a work night. And I'm not going to be able to stream tomorrow, because it looks like me and one of the other teachers are going to go out for dinner. And hopefully I can invite someone else to come along with us. Would be nice. Kick it! Kick it! Kick it real good! Every hour we've been updating the tracker. If you're curious why the tracker is not updating, we do hour check-ins. This is not an automated tracker or a click tracker. I'm just manually doing it every hour. Which is fine. I could set up an automatic tracker. I have the software for that, but I want to keep the load on this laptop as light as possible until I can get like a new internal hard drive for it. Because apparently this laptop has an empty slot for an internal. And my biggest complaint with this laptop, besides it just, you know, being a little old, is that the hard drive is super full, which causes it a lot of problems. I'm pretty sure that's why it heats up so much, because the hard drive is just super full. The SSD. But like, if I get like a 2 or 3 terabyte internal that I can slap in it, I can, where the fuck are you going, squirrel? I could give us some wiggle room. And wiggle room would be nice. I do like wiggle room, as it were. Wriggle room makes me happy. It's a Wooloo! Go fight the Wooloo! If I can get a nice internal, I could get back to recording without fucking needing to plug in an external and fucking my whole setup up. That would be sick. A Nickit. That would make me supremely happy. If I could get myself like a nice infernal. Fighting Nickets always take too long because they have quick attack, the little bastards. They get a shot in. Oh, there's another Nickit. I want to get that Nickit. Nickit! Nickit real good. Surprised this is taking like another 6 hours to finish. It looks like it's almost done. There must be something I'm missing. I can't check it right now. Man, I can't believe that as long as I switch over to low latency instead of ultra low latency, I drop 0 frames. I wonder if that had been my problem. If I just switched to low latency before, maybe we could have been streaming earlier and just would have had less tech issues. Oh, live and learn. Live and learn, as I always say. Live and learn. A brilliant Squovit? Ah, damn it. I got so excited. I will always get so excited. It could have been it. It could have been our starter. It had the highest odds. It had the highest odds we could physically get right now. Brilliant Squovits are just like our big money chance for a shiny right now. Let me turn my fan down. I can't tell if it's picking up on the mic or not. But audio quality is next to godliness in terms of streaming, I find. People are willing to put up with a lot of shit if your audio sounds alright. Ollie, ollie, ollie. Double birds? Double birds? Ain't nobody got time for double birds. God, Lulu is adorable. Oh my god, you didn't one-shot it? Jesus, we're like level 25. We have like 20 levels on this Wooloo. Score money sucks. And I'm pretty sure if I had gone Sobble, I would be one-shotting this shit. I'm just pointing that out. Also, I don't remember like the middle names of like any of the evolutions for almost any generation after like the first 3. I don't know why that is. I remember the name of the first Pokemon. I remember the name of the final evolution, but the middle one just gets like forgotten. And I think that's like a normal thing. right? Because they're like the teenagers. Their design is usually a little undercooked, right? Because it's like Ivysaur, Charmeleon, Wartortle. I mean, I could never forget Wartortle. I love the name Wartortle so much. And then you go to Gen 2 with Bayleaf, Croconaw, and Quilava, right? Those all stand out. Ooh, a Brilliant Squobit. Wow. That's some pretty good odds, though. Like, the fact that we got 2 Brilliant Squobits, like, back-to-back like that's pretty sick. Then Gen 3, you get, of course, you got Mudkip, who turns into... I'll see, this might be the first one I forget. Because I know the final one is Marshtomp. I think I don't remember what the second one is. Yeah. So Gen 1 and 2 are the only ones who, like, hold my attention. That's weird. Well, no, I mean, Turtwig becomes combusted. I know that. I forget what Trico turns into. It turns into Sceptile eventually. Which is weird, because I basically always pick Trico. Also, it's just a good shiny. I don't think I have the shiny Gen 2s or 3s yet. Or at least not all of them. I've been hunting them in Scarlet and Violet, but slowly. You know, very rarely do I get that outbreak, and sometimes I just get tired of waiting, and I don't farm Herba Mystica, man. It's too much fucking hassle. Just takes it out of me. I'm trying to think of all the starter second evolutions who I remember. Frogadier, because I love Froakie. Froakie is sick. Delphox? Or no, Delphox is the final evolution, right? I don't remember the second one. I loved my Frogadier though. My D'Artagnan from my first X playthrough. Also, just like, that's just a good card for like the Pokemon TCG. Now see, that's something that you think would help me remember these names, right? But like, I just don't run those decks. Like, my only Pokemon TCG deck is a Steel deck, and there ain't no Steel starters. So it's just like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna remember these names? They're in my list. All the ones that have shiny are in my list. I just can't remember them. I wish we got a Pokemon game with weird starters instead of just fire, water, grass. Like, yes, I get that is like the trio to teach, like, you know, the rock, paper, scissors mechanic, but like, there are other trios. Like, Dark Psychic Fighting. Dark Psychic Fighting could work. Fairy Steel Fighting could work too, I believe. I think. I'm trying to remember. Because that's what I end up doing with, like, my fan regions that I've made for, like, tabletop Pokemon. Is I still stick with the fire, water, grass, but I give them a cool subtype triangle that usually goes inverse. So, like, the grass type is, like, a grass fighting type, and the fire type is a fire dark type. So, yes, the fire type moves will be super effective against the grass type, but the grass types fighting moves will be super effective against the fire types, dark type. I just like that. It just is it's a cool balance. I love that region. I really want to sit down and turn all the fake mon in that region into like actual monsters someday. I think that'd be super cool. Like actually get their stats out with like abilities, what levels and how they evolve, and get art of them. I think that'd be cool. I mean, it would be best if I could find an artist who wants to just work with me on the project instead of just constantly commissioning artists. It'd definitely be cheaper, but you know how that shit go. I don't mind. I like paying artists. It's a hobby of mine. I'm gonna spoil it. We gotta be careful of the exclamation points though, because there are Pokemon that can like only spawn in this route, like in those, like Caterpie and Grubbin and shit. And like, one, I don't need either of those shinies, and two, like, they're just gonna take our time. Alright, I think that was our last tackle PP. So we gotta change that real quick. Come on, BS1. Yeah, it was. Alright, we'll put double kick on, so we have the longest amount of time possible before we need to change move setup again. I like Nickit. Like, I like the idea of Nickit. I think getting Pokemon with like a rarer type early in a game is really nice. Right? Like, the fact that you just can get a dark type in this game before your first gym is just kind of cool to me. Because to me, in my head, like, dark types are just like Pokemon that come up in the mid to late game, like Murkrow and Absol, right? You don't find them typically in like the starting area. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But it feels like some Pokemon types you just don't see near starting areas. Like Ice type. I think like an Ice type in an early zone would be super cool. Like a Snom or something. But maybe they evolve at too high a level. A lot of Ice types only evolve twice, right? Snom. Vanillix. No, that one evolves 3 times. What am I talking about? Or that one has 3 stages. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm an idiot. Ignore me. Fucking ice cream Pokemon. I actually just like Vanillite and Vanillux. Like, I like the line. I wish they had like a funnier, more punny line, like Double Scoop or something. I just think that'd be funnier. Beat him up. a rookie D. Nobody want that. Go get him. Get that squirrel. Alright. This squirrel. Man, I miss not living on a mountain. One of the weirdest realizations hit me the other day when I was traveling with a friend, and it was that I miss Japan. And I live in Japan, but I live isolated up on top of a mountain in like a fake village. Like, I live in a town that is specifically designed to not look Japanese for tourism. And I miss Japan. There was something with just taking a train through like a city I've never been to, and I'm not going to now. I'm just passing by on my way to an even bigger city, and just taking in all the sights and like where their shops are and all that cool shit. I'm just like, man, I miss Japan. Oh no. Get him. What is this email from work? I'm not on work. It's not work hours. Stop emailing us. It's not about even something we can partake in. Leave us alone. Squirrel. Oh, he spawned. Better not have been my shiny. The little roar he does is so unbelievably cute, man. Pokemon in this game have a lot of character. More squirrels? None of them are brilliant. Technically, once we hit like 500, if we haven't got our shiny by the time we've hit in 500 in all three of these, like, technically the most optimal thing to do is to just ignore the regular spawns and just run around in circles until brilliant spawn, but I don't know. Without the bike, that is a slow ask. Not that this isn't slow, but like, it's just a lot of running in circles doing nothing. Which is, I guess, how we got our shiny starter in the Violet only playthrough, because you don't battle in Violet, you just run around in circles and stuff happens. I guess that's the way it is. There's just so many squirrels. There's so many squirrels. So many squirrels. I'm gonna kick them. Give me the squirrel kicker. That squirrel kicked. Whoa. Man, when we get this shiny, I'm gonna pop off. I'm gonna be so shocked when it actually happens. And that is something I kind of love about shiny hunting. I love how... This is gonna make me sound like more of a masochist than I am. He said like a liar. I kind of love how demoralizing shiny hunting is. Like, I love how it just, like... When you're in the hunt, when you're like 18 hours into a grind, and you're just doing the motions, and it's become just a thing you are doing with your hands. And like, it has lost almost all of its original meaning and drive. But you do it because you know if you keep doing it, mathematically it will result in getting what you want eventually. But after a while, you just like... You have this moment of doubt, like, maybe shiny Pokemon don't even exist. Maybe this is all a fever dream. Maybe it will never happen. I think that's, like, the magic of shiny hunting. Is that, at least for me, part of the magic is that it constantly tricks me into believing that it will never happen. And my brain buys into that. Mathematically, I know that is false. I have 610 different shiny Pokemon in my living dex. Like, with dozens of spare shinies I don't even have a use for. Like, I understand that as long as I commit time or technique, I will get any shiny I want within theory. Or, like, within boundaries. Like, there are some event shinies I just don't believe I can get legitimately. Oh, squirrel. You know, it's just one of those things where, it gets me. Like, it gets to me. Like, my body buys into the idea that the shiny will never happen. And so when any shiny happens, I go insane. Oh, I didn't notice that last fight was our last PP. Damn it. I think we're at the point now where the stab is probably worth more than the physical boost being higher. I think. Oh, my model isn't just busted. Why am I like frozen like that? What? How far back is this? What is going on? Wake up! Wake up, you stupid son of a bitch. There we go. Sorry about that. I just got locked up somehow. It doesn't help that I don't have like a desk or anything. And this is all just being balanced on a fucking chair that is just kind of at head level. We gotta fix. Squirrel. I gotta pay really close attention, man. I really don't want to accidentally like fail the shiny either. And I am like consciously aware that like almost 100% of the Pokemon we can find who will be shiny, I will not be able to weaken in any way because at this point our starter is too strong and we'll just always one-shot them. And I don't think I have any way to like remove all of his like attack moves. Like that's not a thing I'm gonna do. So that the Pokemon can get to the point where they're thrashing and lower their own health for me. So hopefully the 20-odd Pokeballs I have will be enough. Could probably go buy some more. You know what, the next time we go to the Poké Center for PP, I'll buy some extra Pokeballs. Just in case. I'm pretty sure any like level 6 and under Pokemon is gonna get caught from a random Pokeball at some point within like 1 in 20. But I don't see any reason to tempt fate. Tempt fate. Not fate. Fucking up my own sayings. Alright, we're beating this boy sideways. Alright. In another 25-ish minutes, we're going to be doing our update of the tracker. I think Squovits are going to be over 400. Oh, a Nickit! I want to go get that Nickit. I would love for our starter to be a Nickit. I think it is spawning in too small a number in this route. The problem is that we weren't getting any rules in Route 2. It was all like Nickits, Squovits, and Yampers. And like, I want Wooloo in the conversation, is the problem. Like, I want the chance to get like Dubwool as my shiny starter. Absolutely. And I guess I do want that chance more than I want Nickit's odds to be higher. That is what I have decided via my actions. God, he's so cute. This game's good. Pokemon fans need to cool it on Sword and Shield. almost every Pokemon I run into in Sword and Shield is a Pokemon where I'm like, I'd like a life-size plushie of that. Like, I'd love to know, I would love a one-to-one Squirtle, a one-to-one Nickit, or a one-to-one Blue. Like, any one of these Pokemon as, like, a life-size plushie would improve my quality of life by, like, a noticeable degree. Like, a noticeable degree. Well, quad Rickadees, let's get the fuck out of there. All our spawns got taken by Rickadees, we gotta run away. Bird Nation, Bird Nation. Alright, let's get that squirrel. Not a shiny. Sucks, but makes sense. If this says this package was delivered, I'm gonna lose my shit. Oh my god. What? Oh my god, what? What? Is there someone on night shift tonight? Why would they deliver a package at like 6:30 at night? Or what? They delivered it at 5:36? Oh my god, the delivery guy was like coming up the street as I was walking home from work. Oh, you slut. You absolute dick waffle. What day is it? It's Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tessa. Tessa's in Connect. Hey, Tessa. Could you, by any chance, grab how the fuck did that get delivered so late? Jesus. So many birds. Leave me alone. I have messaged my fellow teacher, my comrade in arms, who is working tonight. Hopefully she will help brother out. I mean, it's the kind of thing I would do for her. So, like, hopefully, like, it's a thing I have offered to do for her many times, right? Like, I'm that person who's just like, yeah, of course. Like, hey, there's a package here. Do you need me to take it down to your room? And they're like, oh, would you? That'd be super sweet. And I just do it. In fact, I think I have done it for her a few times. So, now that I think about it, when she was a little sick, I brought her some packages that got delivered to the office. So hopefully she would help a brother out in his time of need. But, you know, some people, you know, what can I say? Sometimes people just don't. Alright, we got 22 more to go. Well, we gotta switch off Ember soon. Not that painful. It's a fast fix. We did get a brilliant Squirtle there while I was sending that message off. which is nice. I'm excited. This package is a board game, which is apparently damaged in some way, and I don't know how. The listing said the box was damaged and action card is damaged, but I do not know to what degree action cards have been damaged. Like, are they damaged where I just need to find like weirdly sized board game sleeves for the cards and they're fine? Are they damaged in that I'm just gonna need to throw out the whole pile and just remake my own? Like, is that what I need to do? Like, but it was so cheap compared to the regular price that I kind of had to do it. So, because board games in Japan fucking suck. If you're buying like new online, buying used is better. Buying damaged is way better. Because people in Japan do huge discounts for anything that's damaged, which I really appreciate. As someone who likes to buy things at an affordable price, the fact that Japan like severely discounts damaged goods is like pretty awesome. As damaged goods, I like to know I'm in good company. Get this fucking over. Roar! Look at its little plant-shaped nose. It looks like a little two-leaf plant. It looks like a little sapling. It's so cute. I don't know if I want to eat it or fuck it. It's so adorable. The cheeks. Cheeks! Alright, we got 18 minutes before the encounter update. I feel like we got less encounters this hour than what we were doing the other day. Which is fair. I have been moderately distracted by that email coming in. Sheep. Woo-loo. Ah. Man, I don't know. This was the game where they did the whole Dexit thing, right? That's part of the reason why people dislike Sword and Shield so much, right? This was where they were like, hey, you're not going to be able to bring Pokemon from older gens into this game. And that, I mean, admittedly, that still pisses me off. It does suck that there isn't, like, a game where all of our Pokemon can exist and be used. And the fact there are still some Pokemon that are, like, restricted to, like, Pogo and the DS, like, still is a bit of a feels bad for me. I'm not a fan of it. But I was never, like, that mad about it. Like, you know, what it makes the Shiny Charm way easier to get. Wow, my model is freaking out. There we go. It makes the Shiny Charm easier to get, and I can appreciate that. Because, like, I've managed to get the Shiny Charm now in, like, 2 games? 3 games? On my own, with, like, very limited trading. Like, I got it in Sword and Shield with very limited trading. I got it in Scarlet without any trading at all. I just, well, I mean, except for the Violet exclusives. Um, but I traded those with people who were actively also looking for the Scarlet exclusives. We just did the one-to-one trades because I got in when the game was still new. Those codes don't fucking work anymore, man. I saw a friend try to do that on Scarlet to get the Violet specific ones, and it was just a nightmare of just people trolling. And I was like, well, I'm glad I got that done when I got that done. Because it looks like it's just awful now. Which sucks, because like it seemed like such a cool idea when I first got Scarlet. And I mean, the third game, I guess I got Arceus with like basically no training. I was gonna say the one that doesn't count is probably Let's Go Pikachu. I really liked Let's Go Pikachu, and I kind of dig it for shiny hunting. It's like way slower than basically anything in Scarlet and Violet, but like every so often you just get the urge. You know, you get like that primordial urge to just throw Pokeballs, like physically throw Pokeballs for 8 hours. Just build up like a 1300 catch combo because the game fucked you over. I've had to do that. Usually I get my shiny in Let's Go Pikachu before such ridiculously high numbers, but there have been times when the numbers have gotten that high. Those are the days where you're just pausing the game mid-combo and just turning off the TV because you can't turn off the game without breaking the combo. You just do that for like 3 days straight because you're just trying to get one fucking meter in. Yeah. Because I was trying to get, I was working on getting the Kanto Pokedex, like, in order. Like, I was just going through the home decks, and like, whenever I'd hit an empty space, I would go into Let's Go Pikachu and go get the next Pokemon I needed. I think I was at Ekans. And Ekans got added into Scarlet and Violet in the DLC, so I, of course, just got it there. If I'm not mistaken. We're almost at a PP again. How much do we have left? I mean, I don't mind crashing if we run into a fight with no PP. Yeah, we got like 2 left. We can take out these 2 Lulus on our way out. And then we got like another 10 minutes before we update our encounter tracker. We're getting there. Squovits are gonna be, we might hit 500 Squovits tonight, which would max out shiny odds for Brilliant Squovits in the wild, and also max out the Brilliant percent chance. I think my coworker just said that they'll drop it off at my door. Aww. So that is very sweet of her. Thank you. Yes. Yes! A coworker who's doing a nice thing for me. Thank you. Aw, man, I'm so excited. I hope the board game I bought is not unplayably broken. I hope I don't need to print out my own copy of the deck and somehow make that work. I'm so excited. Oh, I haven't played this game in, Jesus, 8 years. Maybe. Because they hadn't been running it. They haven't been running it at the board game convention the last few times I went. And COVID. And before COVID. And like after COVID I came here, where like board games were not a thing I could play most of the time. I did order a Japanese board game recently to teach my Japanese friends how to play it because I'm excited. It's a fun game. When I came here to Japan, I designed a board game, and I still have. Well, I have before this week. I had no confidence it would be fun. It was a really simple thing. The whole point of the game was that you could play it with just 2 decks of cards, and games only took about half an hour. That was my goal. It was made for 3 to 5 players roughly, and the goal was just a super fast game. Like some friends could like pound it at a lunch break while they're shooting the shit and eating food, with like almost no setup. I wanted a game with no meeple. I wanted a game with no physical board. I wanted to build a game that took up basically no space. It took up as much space as 2 decks of cards could take up. And so I tried to design this like town building game where you had a building deck and you had a resource deck. And you got so many buildings to start with and so many resources to start with, and then each turn you got more resources. And you could, if you wanted to, cycle away one of the buildings in your hand to get a new building. And the goal was to have as many victory points as possible by the end of the game through building your buildings, which all had synergies that worked together. Like, buildings cared about each other, like, and stuff like that to give you bonus VP so you could try and build your way into something. And I never play tested it because I have a lot of confidence issues whenever I create something like that, or like my light novel that I finished recently, Volumes 1 and 2. I have a really hard time giving it to people because I haven't had it like professionally edited, and I'm just worried that I'm the only person who will like it. Now some people have read my first light novel and they did like it, but they're also friends, and I don't know if they like it just because I made it, and they don't know how to critique me in a way that wouldn't hurt my feelings, or they genuinely like it. You know, it's one of those things. So I never got around to playtesting this board game that I made. I think I called it like The Founding, because it was all about just trying to make a town, basically. And in my game, there was a set limit on turns, unless someone made like a unique building that increased the number of turns in the game, which would make the game go like an extra 5 minutes. Because again, I wanted games to be quick. And super rules light. Like I made a game specifically where I could put all the rules on a single page of paper, like A4, and just be like, this is the rules. It is a 1-page rule game. Once you learn how to do it once and you get into the flow, you never need to look at that paper again. There aren't any interactions that are so complex that you need to like look up a fact or anything. Like, that was my goal. So this week, I played a new game that I never played before. That one of my new coworkers brought with him, called Citadels, and it is my game, just better, with like cool characters that do things, and there's like 36 of them, so you can build different lineups of the characters. The buildings interact in certain ways, but the characters care about what types of buildings you have. The buildings have types. And you get bonus victory points based on being the first person to complete a town and having a building of each type in your town and all this stuff. And it got rid of all the different types of resources, which was what my game was built around, for just gold, and leaned into the characters doing cool things, and you switching characters each round, and the characters being how you determine initiative. And I'm like, holy shit, this is the game I made, just better. Which, on the one hand, totally boosts my confidence in my game, because the fact that Citadels exist, and apparently has existed since the year 2000. Full disclosure, I did not know this game existed when I designed my game. I did not steal things from Citadel. I did not know Citadels existed. But like, the fact that something so similar to my game could exist, means that my idea for the game has legs. And technically my game is like different than Citadel's. Citadel's takes a lot of prep. Citadel's is a rule book that has like interaction specific rules and timing rules. And like, yeah, while we were playing the game, there were a few times where we had to like pause playing the game to look up an interaction. And the book always had like us covered. It always had a clear line of text that like solved our problems. But my goal for my game was to make those problems not exist. Was to make those problems, like, to make a game simple but also fun and strategic enough that those problems don't exist. But like, I think my problem with my game is that there's no interaction between the players. Like, I mean, there is. It's supposed to encourage trading. And then I realized what it does, sort of like the Catan thing, right? Like, why would you ever trade? Because trading is clearly giving someone else an edge. even if you're getting something you need to complete one of your buildings, it's better to just risk it to not give them the chance to complete a building you don't know what they have, right? Like, I considered all that while designing my game. I was like, crap, there's a problem. Like, why are people going to trade in my game? Because, like, if you get an early lead, why are you ever trading with people who are behind? Because it might give them the chance to get in with, like, a cool, unique building that has a cool effect. It might just, like, cost you the game. And I was like, shit. I didn't consider that originally. How do I make people want to trade? The whole point of the game is trading your materials with other people. And then I did a thing where I like made it. Whenever you finish a trade with another player, you get a victory point towards the end of the game. So now trading is encouraged because even if they get like a 2 VP building, you still got 1 VP. Plus, you probably got a resource you needed towards finishing one of your own buildings. But now I'm sort of like, well, now we got to track VP in the middle of the game. Now we're tracking victory points turn to turn, which probably involves a pencil and a piece of paper, which is exactly the kind of thing I didn't want doing in my game. Because now suddenly there needs to be something else. There needs to be a running tally instead of just adding stuff up at the end. And now that I've played Citadel, I think I could make my game more interesting. But the problem is, I think the more interesting I try to make my game, the more it would just become Citadel's. And I'm like, my time would probably just be better spent making custom Citadel characters. Like, designing homebrew Citadel stuff would probably be more useful than trying to recreate the game I was making. It does make me curious, though, like, if people had playtested my game who didn't know Citadels existed, would they like it? Would it feel like the game has legs? Because it's so similar to Citadels in other ways. It was really cool. I was equally, like, upset and, like, ecstatic the whole time we were playing. I'm sure I was super annoying because I could not shut up about it. I was just mumbling to myself. I was like, holy shit, this is just my game. Every time I saw a new building in Citadels and read its effect, and I'm like, I made this. I made this building in my game. And then I'm like, holy shit, I even called it something extremely similar to this. I was just like, holy shit. It was super cool. It was a really weird moment to just like see what something I had come up with as an idea, one had already existed, which, you know, fuck, there's no original ideas anymore, ever. That's not a thing that can happen. But as creators, we can strive to iterate in new ways and tell new stories and do new things. Like, I'm not saying, oh, there could never be a new original idea. Art is dead. I'm just saying that, well, guess what? In the billions of people that have and will exist, someone else has probably had your idea. And maybe done something with it. But, like, I don't know. It's so cool. I still have, like, the whole huge stack of sleeves. Because I bought enough Dragon Shield sleeves to playtest my game. Which was, like, 260 card decks or something. I had people do the math for me because there were cards based, like, the resources were rarity based. So there were some resources that were much more in the deck and some that were much rarer in the deck. And I was like, oh, this means, you know, I really need to be able to shuffle the deck. And the playtest card stock cards you get off Amazon fucking suck for shuffling. So I splurged on like $50 of Dragon Shield so I could sleeve up the decks, so they would shuffle better. And I used to do solo playtests with myself, but like again, all that shows is that there is a game. The mechanics function. Yes, you can draw into resources and build the cards in your hand. Yes, you can draw into new buildings. Yes, you can technically pass resources around players. It doesn't show that the game is fun. It doesn't test the most important part of a game, which is people want to play it. But yeah, it was super cool. And just like playing 2 rounds of that the other night, and doing like 7 rounds of Liar's Dice or 5 rounds of Liar's Dice. I was just on such a huge board game kick. And I'm like, God, I really want to introduce these guys to Cosmic Encounter. Because they hadn't played Cosmic Encounter and I love Cosmic Encounter, and it's one of those games that like it was like my white whale. Like whenever I would go to the board game convention, I would always just be like casually offhand, like, hey, if none of you guys are running a game right now, why don't we play a round of Cosmic Encounter? To varying success over the years. I'm excited, especially because like as long as the alien species cards for Cosmic Encounter aren't damaged, I think I can make the game work. Like I might need to do some tinkering, I might need to make my own action deck, but like I am willing to figure out a way to do that. So that's pretty exciting. Oh, we've been going for an hour. We're gonna pause after this Nickit to update our tracker to see how many of each Pokemon we've battled. Because again, I haven't set up an automatic tracker for that yet. Because I am a bad I'm a bad Pokemon streamer, I'm sorry. I don't have all the bells and whistles. Alright, let me open my OBS here so I can update the text file. Alright, here we are. Squovit, where are you? 412? We almost did 100. We did like 92. Wooloo is gonna show up next, right? 183? Jesus. That is not many Wooloo. Nickit? Alright, we got Nickit over 100. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that was just less. I think that was just less. Oh my god, I forgot. Sorry, hold up. Let me turn on previews. I was using my numpad for this and I forgot that was the hotkey for my eye to start doing my eyes things. There we go, okay. Is that 2 colors? Is that the regular purple? I think that's the regular purple. My bad. I have that all hotkeyed. Not that I actively use it, because I'm just in a very emotionally kind of neutral person. I wonder if anyone else has that problem, where like, I don't have very highs or lows. I'm just kind of middle. I occasionally have like depressive episodes, but I very rarely have like a manic episode. And even when I have a depressive episode, it's like, it's more anxiety, I think, than depression, you know? Like, I can feel very anxious for an extended period of time, but I very rarely, like, just feel low. And I very rarely feel very high. I'm just mid. I'm just in the middle of the road. Brandon Sanderson has brought this up sometimes, on his podcast and in his videos, and every time he does, I feel so seen, where he's just like, I am the opposite of a bipolar person, where they feel extremely depressive lows, extremely manic highs. I am just always constant. I am like a weird robot in flesh. And it's not that I'm not empathetic, because I can understand when people feel bad, and I can feel associatively through that their emotions, and that's like the only time I do typically feel things, when I am empathizing with another person. And I'm just like, dude, holy shit. Me and Brandon Sanderson had the same condition. We're both idiots in our own way. Yet different, yet similar. I don't know what that is. I don't know, maybe it's part of the ADHD. Maybe it's just autism. I don't know, I'm not, as far as I know, I'm not diagnosed with autism. ADHD, yes. But, at the time, when I was being diagnosed for ADHD, autism, as far as I know, wasn't like a thing that was actively being checked in children, so... that could be something that I have always been, that is just under the radar. But I've also heard that a lot of the symptoms of ADHD are just very similar to some of the symptoms from autism. So, I don't know. I have never claimed to be autistic. I have definitely claimed to have ADHD. That is true. Yeah, board games, man. That fucked me up the other night. On the bright side, it does boost my confidence as like a creator of things, which is cool. It's really cool to see an idea that I had wasn't so crazy that no one could possibly like it or anything like it. Also, man, fuck Japan. We're back on the fuck Japan tangent. I went to look at buying a copy of Citadels for myself. Because eventually, like, I'm going to leave this job, or that other person is going to leave this job, and I will lose access to the board game Citadels. And in Japan, an English copy of the board game Citadels is $150. And I almost had a stroke. and there is a Japanese copy of the game with different art. The whole cards are laid out differently, and the art is different. The icons are all different. I was like, ooh, that's cool. Oh wow, it's kind of anime-ish, but it's not like modern anime. It's kind of like mid '90s fantasy anime style, and I'm like, ooh, it's got that like Lotus War kind of vibe, but not as grim, a little more cartoony than that. And I'm like, ooh, that's really cool. And the price of the Japanese version, $20. I was like, what the fuck? Japan. Why do I have to pay a $130 tax to get this game in my own language? It's pissing me off. So I bought the Japanese version. Which is fine, because my partner and my Japanese friends are Japanese. So they'll be able to understand the game better if I'm trying to teach it to them if it's in Japanese. And I've already played the game twice. While I don't know what every character can do, I understand how the game works. And that is usually enough for me to play a game, even if it's in Japanese. Looking at you, Magic the Gathering, and all the Japanese Magic the Gathering I've had to play over the years since moving to Japan. But yeah, it sucks. Cosmic Encounters was like $180 in English here, and I'm just like, that is too expensive, man. Like, I can't justify spending almost $200 on a board game. Like, that would be enough money for me to get like the new internal for my laptop that it like desperately needs. Like, I could almost get the 5 terabyte internal for my laptop. Again, which it needs, because I'm down to like my last 20 gigs, and being that full is really stressing the system out. I just don't have $200 to buy an internal right now. I got stuff to pay off. I got savings I need to build, especially if I'm potentially gonna leave this job next spring and need to relocate again. Because moving in Japan is not cheap. And it's just like, I really need that hard drive. Because at first I was just considering like saving up $300 and buying like a mini PC with like a 2 terabyte internal in it, and just running all my streaming game dev stuff out of that. But like for roughly the same price, I could just get a 5 terabyte internal for my laptop, and dump all my heavy files onto that, all my video recordings, all my game dev work, and then leave the integrated SSD that it came with just like free to just relax for the first time in the 7 odd years since I got the laptop. But you know how that shit go. Money. Yeah, I never realized this laptop just had an open slot for a hard drive inside of it, or I would have updated it years ago when I had more money. But I'm an idiot who's not good with computers, so I just assumed I could not upgrade my laptop's internals, because when I first got into computers, people were always like, "Oh, laptops are cool and all, but you can't ever upgrade them so they suck because they're like closed systems." And I was always like, "Oh man, I guess I can't update my laptop ever." And I just like internalized that message, and then no, it turns out laptops nowadays just ship with like extra internal slots for HD cards or like hard drives. And it's just like, oh well, fuck me. Here I have been just plugging in random externals to do my recordings on, when I could have just fucking got an internal and saved all those USB ports I've been using. Oh, damn it. I added the 5 terabyte to my throne. Christmas is coming up. I can always just send my throne link to the fam and be like, hey, here are some projects I'm looking for. You can just donate money towards them as my Christmas present. Which did work last year at some point. I think a few people got together on my birthday and bought me like an 18-pack of mac and cheese. Or something like that. Which was cool. Throne is a neat concept. I don't have enough followers to just be at the mass where there are people with expendable money who are watching me who are just like, yeah, sure, I'll give this idiot $20. I don't know if I ever want to hit that level. I mean, if it happened, that would be sick. But I'm not particularly aiming for it. You know, I just want to have fun playing my games and talking to people who show up. Kind of, you know, just so I don't fall asleep while I'm shiny hunting. Which has definitely happened off camera. Which is definitely the kind of thing that will happen if I'm not talking constantly while I shiny hunt. Because eventually, like, the rush of thinking I'm gonna find that shiny goes away, and I just start falling asleep. It does happen sometimes when I'm streaming too, though. Like, if I'm having a really good conversation with someone and they have to leave, and it's just me talking into the void again. I'm doing it now. Like, I don't really know if anyone's watching or like listening. And if you're lurking, hey, cool, thank you. That's fine. This isn't a call-out post. You don't have to comment. It's just one of these things where no one has been in the stream like actively chatting with me, so I don't feel that absence. So I can just fill the void with me rambling about whatever comes into my head. That's fine. But if I'm having like a conversation with someone, like I'm actively talking with them, and then they leave, and then it's the silence in chat, that's what kills me. That it doesn't even kill my motivation to stream, because like, you know, whatever. I'm doing this because I like doing it. I don't, you know, I do like streaming. It's just that for some reason that breaks the motor in my brain that keeps my mouth talking, which is great because, you know, if people randomly kick out your stream, there's nothing better than dead air while you just mindlessly hunt Pokemon, right? Like there's nothing that's gonna keep someone invested in you more than just dead air and a 6-year-old Pokemon game, or however old fucking Sword and Shield is at this point. But because I haven't had that today, my motor is just going. I'm just talking about whatever random shit that comes up. Speaking of random shit that comes up, I got emailed yesterday by my favorite restaurant in Japan. They sent me an email. Now, if this was the West and I got like an email from like McDonald's or some shit, I would assume it was just coupons or them trying to sell me something. This is Japan. So I was like, hold up, this is Japan. I've never gotten a coupon email from Japan before. What's going on? I get notifications from some very specific stores when they have sales, but that is because I've gone to those stores' website and like, yes, tell me when there's a sale, because you sell specific things that I like, and when they go on sale, I might need to pick it up. The restaurant is not one of those places, but I've made reservations at the restaurant before via my email, so they just have access to it, I guess. And they were like, hey, due to the rising cost of meat products in Japan, which is apparently a thing, apparently meat is just going up a lot in Japan this year, which breaks my heart. Because chicken here is so fucking cheap, man. Oh my god. It's like 60 cents per 100 grams for chicken breasts. You can just get kilos of chicken breast here for fucking nothing. It's so beautiful. Hopefully it doesn't go up too much. But like my favorite restaurant is like, hey, we're terribly sorry due to the economic existence in Japan right now. At the end of this month, we will be increasing the price of most of the things we offer by like $2. And it's like an all-you-can-eat place, so like you just pay for a course and then you get that course. All the courses are going up by like $2 to $3. And the alcohol and soft drink combo all-you-can-drink deal is also going up. But notably, I don't think just soft drinks is going up, and I don't drink alcohol, so I'm like, sweet. Okay, that's good at least. But this has lit a fire under my ass. And now I've been to this restaurant recently because I went there on the 25th. I went there like 2 weeks ago. On the 25th of August. But now that I know the price is changing, I'm like, well, I have to go again. I have to get in for at least one last all-you-can-eat hurrah before the price goes up. And the next time I go, it's gonna cost me $2 more. Now I go to this type of restaurant, this like all-you-can-eat restaurant, a lot more than the typical Japanese person, and a lot more than the typical foreign person in Japan. Like, most foreigners sort of treat that thing as like a once a year kind of thing, once or twice a year, and for me it's like a once a month kind of thing. But I'm just like, I like it. Why don't you enjoy this? And they're like, yeah, of course I love it. I'm like, then why do you only do it once a year? And I'm like, well, it's like a little unhealthy, it's a little expensive. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of shit you do that's unhealthy and expensive. You do it every day. Like, if this is something that's really good and you really like it, why are you like actively choosing to not do it? And then they usually shut up and realize that for some reason it's a trigger for me. But one of the new teachers wants to practice driving in Japan because he can drive in Japan. He just hasn't. And again, we live way up on a mountain. So in winter, there's snow up here. And it's getting closer to winter. And I'm like, you two new guys who like are here and can drive, but haven't really driven much in Japan, and are like, we really need to learn it, like, we need to practice driving, but at the same time haven't been doing it, because they're like, well, you know, I'm a little nervous about it. And I'm like, you're gonna have to get over that if you're gonna want to be able to drive here at all, ever, because, like, winter's coming, you know, Game of Thrones means. Because once the snow gets here, it's going to be a lot harder driving, especially if you're not comfortable with the road. Like, you need to get comfortable with the route on the mountain, so that when it gets to the snow and you have to deal with the snow, it won't be as bad. And one of them was like, yes, definitely. That sounds really accurate. And I'm like, hey, I'm glad you're seeing reason. So he's like, yeah, let's go to the restaurant tomorrow. I'm like, fuck this. He's like, is anyone else coming? I'm like, I hadn't even considered that. I guess we could invite more people. And on one hand, I feel mean, because, like, if I could get there on my own, I would just go on my own, right? Like, it's one of those things where, like, I like this new teacher, don't get me wrong, I would absolutely go and eat with this guy. But in my head, my first instinct is, I just want to go eat this. If I could get there on my own, this wouldn't be a conversation we'd be having right now. I might ask you if you wanted to come with me, but, like, I wouldn't be, like, you know, relying on you for it if I could not rely on you for it. But I'm excited to go and eat with him. He seems like a nice guy. I'm curious to know more about him. He's apparently into waifu trash. He's apparently into, like, anime-based games. And every time it comes up in conversation, he gets really bashful and won't talk about it. And I'm like, dude, I am literally a fucking Shota VTuber who fucking plays Pokemon and cusses. Like, I'm just a big old degenerate. Like, come on, you're among your friends, you're among your people here. You can just tell me what the anime waifus on your wall are about. I won't judge you too much for it. And, like, you've already ruled out that they're, like, Genshin Impact or Honkai or, like, any of the big gacha trash that I know, so, like... Also, I wouldn't even judge you if that was those characters are hot. Like, they're designed that way. Like, I get it. You know, like... I've never had hot waifu trash on my walls. Well, no, that's not true. I definitely remember buying some very explicit posters and wall canvases at my first, like, big anime convention that I went to. Which really pissed off my mother at the time, because, you know, I was a kid. Living at home, coming home with wall hangs of, like, naked anime schoolgirls who aren't showing anything, but are naked. Just hanging those on my wall. Those were the days. I've considered getting into that with 3D printing, just like pretty like ridiculously explicit models and putting them all over my room. But like I don't have anywhere to put stuff. Every part of my room is also already covered with 3D printed things. I got a Blood Bowl team under my TV. I got a bunch of Blood Bowl figures on the other side of my TV. On the stack of boxes where I put the finished and painted figures, there are unfinished and unpainted figures. The bookshelf has a fucking huge, like, colossal red dragon on it that I painted. It's just like, I already got too much shit to just also be pretty, like, big old fox girls with huge dicks. Oh shit! It's my friend's kid's first day of school. He's entering high school today. Holy shit! I have to immediately go say holy shit. Holy shit! We're so old. I hope he has a good day. I'm streaming. We'll get back to you in an hour or so. Fuck, man. I remember, oh my god, I remember my friend in university, like, taking his kid to the library, and his kid being, like, literally 4 years old, and he's going to high school now. Ah! 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 Like, I am, oh god, I'm depressed. Ah, here we go. We found one of my lows. It turns out all I needed was to be old. Was to be made brutally aware that I'm old. Can I not trigger my details if I don't have OBS open? Will it only work if I have OBS open? Where is it? I'm trying to make myself sad. Where's the sad one? I have a sad one. Is it number 1? Oh, it is number 1. There we go. I don't... See, here's the problem. I set up the hotkeys in VStudio years ago when the model was made, so I don't remember what any of the hotkeys are, because I, again, very rarely use them, because I'm usually pretty emotionally mellow. But now my good friend's son is going to fucking high school, and life is pain. And what do I have to show for it? Fucking playing Pokemon Sword Shiny only. 8 hours into a save file within a shiny to show for it. Ah. Oh well. That's life. Yeah, okay, so it only works... Oh no, it does work! It does work, without having OBS, like, maximized. I was just being impatient. Cool! And also hitting the wrong button, apparently. Which is probably more what was causing the issue than me being impatient. Hitting the correct button explains the button. We're getting pretty good. I mean, our encounters are going good. We're over halfway to 1,000 now that I actually do the math. Because we're at like 186 plus 412. We were at like 698 at the start of the hour, and it's been half an hour. Alright. I don't think we're gonna break 1,000 encounters in the next 30 minutes, though. We're probably gonna get close to 800, though, which is fucked up. Which is fucked up. You know what? Honest, though we have been playing this save file for about 7-ish hours, because I did the 1 hour test stream where I did do some KOs, and then I did the 4 hour stream yesterday. It doesn't feel that bad. Probably because I'm breaking it up. This isn't like the violent, this isn't like the violent, shiny only run we did, 2 years ago, where I fucking just sat there for like 10 hours running in circles, trying to get that fucking shiny starter. We didn't get it for 17 hours, by the way. We got it in 16 hours and 59 minutes. And boy, will I always remember that number. I remember going to the in-game time in the Pokedex and just being like, yep, there it is, one shiny. That was fun. I've actually done 2 shiny only Violet playthroughs since getting Violet. And I really like it. Honestly, like, Scarlet and Violet is just like super fun to do shiny only runs in. Because they are like fast. Like, if you're not setting, like, super arbitrary rules for yourself, a shiny only run in Scarlet or Violet is not, like, a challenge. Except for the first shiny. Like, getting the first one can take forever. I think for the first Violet run through, it took 17 hours. For the second one, I think it took me 8 hours to find the shiny for the YouTube video, which isn't up yet. I promise it is getting there. I have almost caught my first DLC shiny team, at which point I will play through the first DLC completely with that team, and any other shinies I might catch along the way. At which point I will begin the second DLC and catch a whole new team of 6 shinies for the second DLC. Once we're able to get into the terrarium. That is my goal for the DLCs, and once that is done and I've done both stories, I will get to the editing part of that video, and I will splice it all together and cut the many hour-long clips down into just the highlights, and write a nice little script and record voiceover for it. Ooh, brilliant! I mean, I was in. I was excited again. I bought into it. I was like, internally, this is the one. The Nick is gonna beat the odds, even though it's the one I have the least odds of getting the shiny with. It'll be the one. It'll be my hero, baby. On the bright side, I'm gonna have a lot of watts by the time I get into here. No, I'm not. We are getting watts so incredibly slow compared to how you get it later. But, yeah. Because of the Battle Leaf method, I don't think it will take us that long to get a shiny starter in this run. I'm not looking forward to spending like 10 hours on each shiny we get. Hopefully some of them will come faster, especially when we get to fishing, because I definitely want a shiny Aeroscuda, or whatever the fuck that fish is called, because that is in Scarlet and Violet, but it's also a shiny that's really hard to see. So Lord knows how many of them I have just ran past over the course of the hundreds of hours I put in Scarlet and Violet. So like, I figure I might as well get it into this game where it's a lot more visible, and like, fish chaining is a thing you can do. It's not a thing I've ever done, but I'm excited to try it. I've never done fish chaining in Sword and Shield. I've only done it in X and Y. And I love it in X and Y. Fish shiny hunting in X and Y is like my go-to for that. Sadly, I've caught almost all the shinies in it, so I don't need to do it anymore. I think there's still like two or three fish I need to catch in there that are a little annoying. And technically, one of them I can probably get easier in Arceus. But, you know, it's Arceus. Arceus is a game where shiny hunting is pretty easy, but I have no patience for it. Probably because I never do it on camera, right? So I'm never talking about it. So just like running around a map and then resetting and then running around a map and resetting just tires me out, and I just start falling asleep. Because I'm not engaged, man. I'm not engaged. Plus, it is getting to the point where there are very few shiny Pokemon in Arceus that are likely to spawn in the overworld that I need. Which does suck. which does... Yeah, it sucks. But it is what it is. I don't like have a shiny living dex for Arceus or anything, but it's pretty close. I do have a shiny Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia, but I don't have a shiny one of the Tornado Trio. I'm not even sure how you would get a shiny in Everest. I don't even know if or how you can hunt it. It might just be one of those shinies that doesn't exist. Or like you only get one roll per entire playthrough of Arceus, and there's no fucking way in hell every time I do a roll for it I have to completely delete the save file and start the whole game and finish the whole game over. I just don't like Arceus enough for that. that is not a thing I think I could do if that is the only way to hunt that Pokemon. So hopefully that is not how you hunt that Pokemon. I do have Brilliant Diamond, and I have not played it, but that should get us our Shiny Shaman and Darkrai. Once I do the Shiny only run in that game, which is going to be after this. Because I did a poll, and 5 people wanted Sword and Shield, and 1 person wanted Brilliant Diamond. So, Brilliant Diamond is set. The plan is to do this live stream while I continue doing my Violet recording off camera. Like, I'm still recording it, but it's not live. And whenever we finish this one's playthrough, I will move to Brilliant Diamond. And then if I can figure out a way to modify my DSi to let me run it through capture system, because I've never done that before with a handheld. I'm not sure what that requires. I would totally be interested in doing like a shiny only Pokemon White or White 2 kind of thing. Because I actually really liked Pokemon Black and White. And I also have Soul Silver, which is a fresh save, and that is one of the games where you get the 3 odds of getting you get 3 times the odds of getting the shiny starter, right? Because you get to see all 3 starters before you can pick, and they will be shiny on that screen before you pick them, which is super cool. Every Pokemon game should do that with starters. You should be able to see all 3 of them and see if all 3 are shiny, like, before you pick them. Absolutely, there should not be shiny law, for sure, but that is not how Game Freak wants to run their fucking games anymore, which is frustrating, to say the least. Oh, get out of here! Is that shiny? No. No, okay. Fuck it. That looks a lot redder in Scarlet and Violet. When I see that Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, the head looks red to me. I was like, wait a minute, that's orange. Is that the shiny? Holy shit, I'm gonna have a heart attack. I mean, Drubbin is not the starter I want, but I love Volcabug, or whatever the fuck that Pokemon is called, like its final evolved form. Because it goes like Grubbin, Chargeable, Volcabolt, or whatever it's called. I love that Pokemon. I love bug Pokemon. Like, it's been hard for me to come to terms with it as someone who hates bugs in real life. Bug Pokemon might be some of the coolest Pokemon in existence. Yeah. But yeah, if I can figure out how to set up my DSi to a capture card, I would totally be down for doing Soul Silver, Black, White 2, because I have a bunch of those in Japanese. I also have a copy of Sun, which I've never played before. I have done 90 hours of resetting in Sun for a shiny starter, which never happened. And then they added all the starters to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I just got all of the shinies in Scarlet and Violet for all 3 starters, with no effort. And it kind of killed my motivation to do resets for Pokemon Sun starter. But like, I could totally do Pokemon Sun and then do like what we're doing here with Sword and Shield, where I go into the game and then I hunt for our first shiny and make that our starter, instead of actually resetting for the shiny starter. But like Soul Silver, I'm definitely gonna reset for the shiny. Also because like I just don't have a shiny Totodile Chikorita. I think I have the Cyndaquil line. I think they were recently in Pokemon Go as like an event day, so I think I have that whole line finished. But I definitely don't have Chikorita or Totodile, both of whom are Pokemon I adore. The problem is, it's just I will not modify my 3DS because it was a gift from my mother before she passed away, and it's like the Pokemon 20th anniversary new 3DS XL, or 3DS, like new 3DS. I always thought it was a 3DS XL, but apparently it isn't. It's just a new 3DS, which came out after the 3DS XL. I don't know. It feels bigger than my old 3DS, but it definitely doesn't feel as big as the XLs are, so I guess it isn't. But like, yeah, I'm not risking anything happening to that system at all. I have a Japanese DSi I bought for like $40, like brand new. Because DSIs are fucking everywhere here, and they are dirt cheap. 3DSs still several $100s here, which pisses me off. Because I really want to play Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Because I've never played them, but Hoenn had always, for a long time, been my favorite region. Gen 3, I loved Gen 3 as a kid. Like, Ruby was my shit as a kid. But I've never gotten to play the remakes. And getting an English copy of them here in Japan is nigh impossible. And Japanese copies are fucking everywhere and are like $30. Maybe. I could probably find them cheaper used, which is fucking frustrating because the 3DS is region locked. And I just can't get them if I don't get, like, you know, it modded somehow. Like, I can't get them without getting a Japanese 3DS, and I'm not willing to spend $200 for a new 3DS just to play one game on it. Plus whatever I would need to pay to get it able to be set up with the capture card. I'd be willing to pay for that for the DSi, assuming it's not ridiculous. Oh, someone wants to just buy me that 3DS. Or buy me an English copy of Omega Ruby. Fuck yeah. I'm all ears. Though an English copy means I still wouldn't be able to stream it. Because, I'm not going to mod the 3DS I have, so... I have streamed X before. Using a webcam. And the funny thing is, it was, like, clear enough that I actually could run the auto tracker on it, and like most of the time it would track correctly, which is really fucking funny to me, that my shitty little fucking cheap ass webcam, like the program could pick up the picture clear enough on it that it could actually like do the auto ticking when I was hunting hoodoots. Back when I was hunting hoodoots in the Friend Safari, where I would be doing like 2 games hunting. I would do like I was doing Pokemon Sun. Sometimes it was Pokemon Sun soft resets while I did stuff in Sword and Shield, I think. I was like hatching eggs. I don't remember. I was doing a stream where I was playing 2 Pokemon games at once, which was a lot. And I very rarely ever got shiny. I was doing raids. I was doing the... Oh my god, get out of here, you brilliant Rookidee. If this is shiny, I'm gonna pump this game into the sun. Good. Get out of here. Fucking eating up my brilliant Pokemon slot with your weak ass. I actually really love Rookidee and Rookidee shiny, but I don't want Orchid, so get out of here. Right, it was back when I was doing the raids in Shield a lot, which I still need to do, because I am over odds on Mewtwo in a big way, in that I have caught like 200 Mewtwo's on a 1 in 100 chance of them being shiny, and it has never been shiny, and it has pissed me off to no end. That has been one of my most frustrating hunts, because every fucking attempt is like 15 minutes to 20 minutes. It potentially fails, because occasionally you get to Mewtwo and the AI has made extremely stupid choices, and you get into the fight and Mewtwo just blizzards and wipes the entire party, and you just fucking see that you wasted all this time. I'm super over odds on Mewtwo right now, which is like incredibly frustrating, because those runs just take so long. I've only gotten 2 shiny legendaries out of that. I've gotten Guzzlord and Nihilego, the Rock Poison Jellyfish, and the Dragon Dark Eenie Boy, which are cool. Again, as someone who's never played Sun and Moon, I had no idea about Ultra Beasts until I started playing, until the DLC for Sword and Shield came out, and that's what introduced me to Ultra Beasts. So I was like, what the fuck's this jellyfish? I thought this was a rock type. And then you find out it's like a rock poison type, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Nihilego and Guzzlord shinies are both super sick, though. Guzzlord being this huge white and orange pumpkin broken is just actually cool as fuck. And we did get that on camera. And it was a clutch win where we definitely were about to board white, but the NPC's Basculin froze the Guzzlord. I'm pretty sure I saved that clip separate, and it's just on the channel. It's like one of my most, it might be my most viewed video, where the fucking Basculin AI freezes the Guzzlord solid, which lets us get the KO before he thaws out, because we were like 1 KO away from losing, and people had made terrible choices. And we managed to beat the Guzzlord, and then it was also shiny, and I fucking popped off. That was sick. I think we'd only done like 12 or something attempts at that point too. It was low enough on the odds that it was pretty lucky. Same for Nihilego. Like, I deserve to be... This is again the masochist in me. I deserve to be punished for a bit in shiny luck. Because I got Nihilego and Guzzlord like pretty early. Like, I didn't get them in like 1, but I got them in like less than 20 each. But I would like to point out that being like double odds on Mewtwo, I've been punished enough. Please just give me my green Mewtwo boy. Please. My Mewtwo boy, he's so sick. Give me the greens. Please. I am dying. I need more greens in my life. Shiny? That was the brilliant. I don't think we're at 500 Squovit yet, so that wasn't maxed odds. It's like 1 in 1,000. Now the problem is that brilliants only have a 3% chance to spawn. That is the biggest kicker. They almost cooked with this. I don't know why they added this into the game if they were gonna make it so shit. Like, it should boost brilliant odds to like 15% instead of 3%. Like, I think that is still probably low enough to suck, but like, come on, 3%. Oh, another one, shiny. Ah. There's that hope, the hope of Gearper that I have. But yeah, I wonder. You know, it can't be that hard to set a DSI up for the capture card. I need to do more raids. Also, I think I have Mewtwo and Buzzwole locked in, and I've gotten about 100 Buzzwoles. I think I'm at like 85 Buzzwoles without the shiny. Mewtwo, I know I'm close to 200. Because I've done Mewtwo a lot more than I've done Buzzwole. Just because, you know, it's Mewtwo. I want to try to Mewtwo. Now, if I hadn't have been an idiot, I would have just reset for the shiny and Let's Go Pikachu. And probably just, you know, hated life, but like, I would have absolutely gotten it eventually. But like, the odds in the raids are just so much better, right? Like, it's just... The 1 in 100, right? Like, it's so tantalizing, right? 1 in 100 is really, really sexy when you look at it, right? Then, you know, you realize that each of those 1 in 100 is like a 25-minute reset with like non-insignificant amount of odds of just failing. Compared to saving in front of a legendary with a Master Ball in your inventory and just resetting every... resets probably take a bit of a minute. But still, that means you can reset 25 times in the same time it takes to do one raid. So assuming you finish all raids 100% of the time, I don't know if 25 in 4,000 is that much worse than 1 in 100. 25 in 4,000. It's like 1 in 600? 1 in 600? That's not that bad. But, you know, live and learn. I did finish. Okay. Streaming is still happening. Good. Alright, hold up. I turned my eye pink. Trying to turn it not pink. There we go. Alright, we're good. it's one of those things, you know, where like math is not my strong suit. I'm really bad at probabilities. Not understanding probabilities. I'm just bad at doing the math to get to the probabilities. Um, it was always something I struggled with in math. Which you think would mean I'm not very good at games like Liar's Dice, but I'm weirdly just kind of okay at Liar's Dice. Also, I just have crazy dice luck and am an insane person. So like I can just make crazy plays in Liar Dice and win off them and defy logic. Like I can defy the odds a lot when I play a game like Liar's Dice. Because I can often bet on me just getting what I want with dice more than reality should allow, and be right. And God, does that piss people off. God, does that just make people who are into dice games annoyed. Well, the people who are into the math. People who are into the math will look at me and, you know, they'll call you a liar. And I'm like, alright, well, here's not only the amount of dice I called, but 2 extras. And they're just like, that's not mathematically possible. And I'm like, well, I did it. You lose. I really like Liar's Dice. I got to properly play Liar's Dice with like a group of adults the other day, and it was so fun. Even when I was losing, I was having so much fun. It's so fast, it's quick, people are laughing and having a good time, and it's just so good. I only get to play Liar's Dice in Japan typically when I am teaching it to like 40 elementary school students, and I have like 25 minutes for them to understand how the game works. And the Japanese teacher usually also doesn't know how it works, so it's not like they can help me. Here we have to find, like, this job is insane, because as one of our lessons, we take the kids to the pub when the pub is closed, and we show them a bunch of pub games. And one of those games is Liar's Dice, and we're like, alright, we get 5 minutes to teach these kids how to play Liar's Dice, and then we leave them to play Liar's Dice while we go teach other kids how to play dominoes, and I'm like, I usually take like 25 minutes of setup. I'm drawing on a board, I'm giving them diagrams, like this is insane. And I rarely have seen any kids like pick up the game and understand how to play it in that amount of time. Even if we spend the time to sit with them and try over the course of like 10 minutes to teach them how to play, like in a smaller group, it just very rarely works here. But they're not really interested in actually teaching people anything here. They're just interested in doing what people paid them to do and not really caring if there's an output. There we go. We managed to talk myself out of the medium I was in and back down to a low. You know, it's not even that low. I'm not even like performatively upset. It's just like, yeah, job sucks. All jobs suck. Even the jobs I have that are good suck. Well, whatever. Whatever. Who cares? Just play Pokemon. Just say the line part. Just fucking get your head in the game and play Pokemon and don't worry about any of that shit. Just wait till I see those sparkles, man. My heart rate is gonna skyrocket. I'm gonna be so excited. I'm just gonna be a babbling idiot. Plus, there's something special to me about finding shinies outside of Scarlet and Violet and Arceus. In older Pokemon games. It has happened every time I have found a shiny in X. And like I am until very recently in X, I had only been hunting shinies with like extremely boosted odds. In that I have the shiny charm in X. I did not get that all on my own. One day a friend sat down with me, an American friend, and we traded like the 200 Pokemon I needed to get my shiny Dex. Because they had a living Dex in their X. They could just trade me all the numbers I needed in like a loop, and I owe them so much. And they're definitely not watching this right now because one, they're probably asleep, and two, I haven't checked in on them in a while. I'm gonna send them a message after the stream and just let them know I'm thinking about them. Uh, they are a sweetheart. And we haven't talked that much in a while because I haven't been streaming. I haven't been interacting in VTuber space, and I don't know if they've been interacting much in VTuber space lately. But I should reach out because they are a friend, and I think about them in a non-insignificant amount of time. And sometimes I forget that people don't realize you're thinking about them unless you tell them that. So I should just reach out and just say, hey, I was thinking of you. But yeah, so they helped me get the Shiny Charmin X, which was sick. So most of my Shiny Hunting X has been horde fighting, where you're seeing 5 Pokemon at a time, or chain fishing, where you're chain fishing, which super boosts the odds. Now recently in X, I have just been hunting in the wild, trying to get the 6 monkeys I need, the Simi and the Pans. I did see a pan. I did get a shiny pan 4, and yes, I did pop off when that happened. There's just something about getting shinies. One, out of encounters, like you can't see that the Pokemon is shiny before you get in a fight. And as someone who has bred a lot of shinies, because I breed a ton of shinies in Shield, I got a little thing for my controller that lets it hatch eggs for me automatically. So I don't really need to pay attention to it. It will just hatch eggs for me. And every so often I will get a shiny out of it. Which is, you know what? It does rob a bit of the fun out of it. I'm not gonna lie, it does. Yes, I'm robbing myself of fun just to achieve a goal I want. But like, you know, whatever. I've made that decision. I have bred eggs on my own, where I've sat there and hatched eggs. I tried to breed a shiny Sableye for 5 years, 6 years, and never got it. And then I found Sableye. I found a Sableye Friend Safari in X and got it in a single day. And that made me cry because I had been Masuda methoding in X without a shiny charm for years. Basically, anytime I picked up my 3DS, I would just go and hatch like 7 or 8 Sableye eggs, get nothing, throw them in the PC box or release them, and then just be sad. Because I really wanted a shiny Sableye. So yeah, I breed a lot in Shield because it has a lot of Pokemon in it, and there are a lot of Pokemon that are like really annoying to get as shinies in Sword and Shield. Very like specifically fossil Pokemon from previous generations. So like Caracosta, Armaldo, Kabutops. Those are all in Sword and Shield, and I have a Japanese Ditto. Or a French Ditto. I have a French Ditto named Methanon, I think. So yeah, I have bred most of those shinies in Sword and Shield. But like, man, breeding doesn't feel as good to me, even if I am actively doing it. And not using my little controller hack to auto hatch eggs for me. Ooh, shiny? Shiny? Even if I am like actively hatching the eggs, it doesn't feel as good. It still feels pretty good. My first shiny in Sword and Shield was well, technically it was a Bronzor. It was like a full odds Bronzor that I walked into by accident while hatching Shink's eggs. I just walked into a brilliant Bronzor and it was shiny, and that I popped off, man. Plus I love Bronzor shiny and Brazon. Steel Pokemon get good shinies. You heard it here first, folks. And I did hatch that shiny Shinx, and it felt great when it happened. Because it's like one of my friend's favorite Pokemon, and I named it after them, and I sent them a picture of it, and they popped off. In Scarlet and Violet, I decided I wanted to breed a Pokemon that was shiny before realizing just how bad breeding is in Scarlet and Violet. I still did it, and I was just hatching eggs. But I wasn't actively like paying attention because Scarlet and Violet breeding is such a nuisance. So I ended up actually like replying to some messages in Discord as the egg was hatching, and not noticing that the Pokemon was shiny until I looked back at the screen and there was just a giant, like, albino Dondozo with yellow streaks staring, like, taking up the whole screen, and I freaked out. That was a good moment for eggs, but it was mostly more just the shock value of just, one, I didn't know what the shiny looked like until I hatched it, and two, it was so big. Shiny, like, hatching shinies just doesn't feel as cool to me. And finding them in Arceus and Scarlet also just doesn't feel like as cool as, like, full odds, I'm just playing an old Pokemon game, I'm just in the bush, and I find a Pokemon. Or even in the hordes, like in X and Y. When I see one in the horde, I pop off. Chain fishing to a lesser extent, because most of the time with chain fishing, like, I expect it to happen eventually. But, like, it's just one of those things where, like, finding shiny Pokemon in the wild hits so different in older gens. I started playing White 2 for the first time ever, because I played Black and White, and I really liked Black and White, and I really liked X and Y, but it came out with Black and White 2, and I just didn't care. Like, I was like, oh, it's the same region, and they're just continuing, like, the narrative, and I didn't really care about the narrative that much, and it wasn't a new region, so I didn't care. I was like, whatever, miss me. But I picked them up recently because I bought a bunch of Japanese Pokemon games for dirt cheap, because they are dirt cheap here. And I was playing, and within the first 2 hours, I hit a 1 in 8,000 odds Patrat, or whatever the fuck the little rat Pokemon is called, which is only available in Pogo and Black and White 1 and 2. You can't get that Pokemon in the newer Switch games, from my understanding. So I went insane. Like, getting that, like, now that I know, like, all about shinies was so cool, man. Oh, my heart was racing. It still is. Unfortunately, I then immediately decided, well, we got a shiny, so start to be close to the game. Maybe we should just do a shiny run. And then I did the first gym badge. I'm like, sweet, I should get a second shiny before going to the next gym. And it's been 50 hours. It's been 50 hours of triggering double encounters trying to get a shiny Leaveney or Scolipede. Or even a second Patrat, so I can keep one of them as a Patrat and the other one as a Watchog for the living dex. Or get a shiny Tailo, or whatever the flying Pokemon in X and Y is. Swellow. Because I think I do need that bird shiny as well. No, it's the Dove, it's P-Dove. And I'm like, yeah, P-Dove, I can't fucking get that in any other game except X and Y, I think, or Black and White. I don't think you can get P-Dove in the recent games. So I'm like, oh, hell yeah, if I get a shiny P-Dove, Patrat, Volipede, or Leaveney, these are like all Pokemon I need for the living dex. So yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna commit to this. So I've been triggering, like, explicitly in the double battle grass for like 60 odd hours without any luck, because again, it's 1 in 8,000 odds, and in all my life of playing Pokemon, I've only ever hit that twice. And one was a Hoothoot that I knocked out on an emulator because I was playing on Turbo and didn't realize that it was shiny until it faded. Like an idiot. Like, that Patrat is the first 1 in 8,000 odds shiny I have ever gotten in a non-emulated Pokemon game. And that is sick. That Pokemon is super special to me. And every time I throw him into the double battle and the shiny goes off and I see that cool, like, white in his blue eyes, I'm like, that is a sick shiny, man. It hits different. It just hits different. And that might be because, like, shinies in Scarlet and Violet feel very easy. Feel very easy to come by because you're just seeing so many encounters, right? Like, they just feel easier. Like, shinies in Arceus and Scarlet and Violet feel cheaper than shinies in other games. And, like, mathematically they are. They're easier to come by, which is, like, you know, how math works. But I still love them. like I was recording for Violet the other night, and I found a shiny Lotat. It is my first shiny Lotat ever, and I need 3 shiny Lotats for the line because I don't have any of them for the living decks. And I really wanted to do the Violet DLC with a Ludicolo in the party. Like I really wanted that. I was really hunting for it. I also really want a shiny C-Dot, because I've never had a shiny C-Dot, and again, I need 3 of them. I hadn't found that one yet, but like, yeah, even though it's Scarlet and Violet, even though the shinies come a lot easier, they come a lot fast and loose, even without sandwiches, because I wasn't using shiny sandwiches, because again, I just don't have the energy or the attention span to farm Herba Mystica most days. Because I'd rather just be hunting a shiny instead of hunting for a sandwich that can make hunting the shiny a little bit faster. I'd rather just go and look for the shiny I want, you know? Usually by going to an outbreak. But it's just, yeah. Now, hunting with level 2 sandwiches, that is my jam. Like, it's just enough of offsetting the odds by making the Pokemon you want spawning a bit more often to, like, increase the odds favorably that that's the shiny you're gonna find, without making it irrelevant that you're hunting a shiny, like with a shiny. Oh, that's another brilliant ticket. Come on, maybe. But yeah, like Scarlet and Violet, they just feel different. I'm still excited whenever I see them. I still pop off when I see certain shinies in Scarlet and Violet. But it does hit different in older gens when you're just walking through the tall grass and it happens. And it just, nothing feels quite like it. And God, I wish Kid B had gotten hooked on this sauce. Man, I could have had, I absolutely, as a kid, would have done a shiny Crystal Living Dex had current me been in possession of old me's body, right? Like, I'm a different person than I was when I was a kid. That's just how life is, right? The kid and me are different people. There's a lot of the same genetics in there. There's a lot of the same inner workings, but we were very different people. And like, I brought this up the other day, but like, if I could go back in time, one of the things I would do, like, and like retain the knowledge of the current, would be like to totally go to my past self and be like, hey, fat idiot, shinies are cool, get into it. Also, like, the egg in silver has like a 1 in 16 chance to be shiny, so if it hatches and it's not shiny, reset for it, you idiot. Also, as soon as you get it and it's shiny and you evolve it to the end of its evolution tree, breed that Pokemon with every Pokemon it can breed with, because it gives them a super increased chance of being shiny. Like, now, to be fair, this was before internet, right? Like, or before active internet, like before high speed. Was when I was playing these games. Like, this was back when I had dial-up and I was getting Nintendo Power all the time. I don't ever remember Nintendo Power talking about shinies that much. And like, Nintendo Power really got into like the N64 stuff, and I never had an N64. I was only kind of still getting Nintendo Powers at that point through inertia. Plus, they would have episodes of the Pokemon cartoon in comic form in the middle of the magazine. So it would let me rewatch episodes of Pokemon anime by reading the comic. And it was just screen caps of the anime. It wasn't like drawn. They literally just converted screens from the anime with text into comics. I don't even know if that was like official, because Nintendo Power I don't think was actually like run by Nintendo, was it? I don't think so. I have no idea. Now that I've realized that I had no idea about that, I don't know. But it's super weird that they were doing that with the episodes, but I loved it. It let me just, again, oh. Wow. That was our highest odds. We might be at 500 Squovit now. I don't think so, but we could be. And if so, like, a Brilliant Squovit right now is the highest odds that we have for a shiny. It's like 1 in 1,000, I think, without the shiny charm. So anytime we see one of those, I'm gonna get real excited. But yeah, that sounds like such like an innocuous thing, but like, kid me should have gotten into shiny hunting. Like, I was playing Pokemon all the time. I would finish the stories. I wouldn't even bother finishing the Pokedex most of the time. I did in Red. In Red, I got really into that, and I had 151 out of 150 because one of my neighbors went to like a Toys R Us, which was way far away, like one of the big cities. Because even like the big-ish city nearby didn't have a Toys R Us at the time. So like the nearest Toys R Us was like a 4-hour drive away, and him and his family just happened to be in that city as the event to give out the Mews for Gen 1 was happening. So he went into like the Toys R Us and he, did the link cable trade and they gave him a Mew. And then he brought it home and like I had gotten from the Scholastic book ordering thing that we used to get where your parents could buy you books from the school. You could fill out a little sheet and tick which book you want and bring in the money to your teacher with your little sheet that says, I want this book, and it's ticked on it. They had gotten me a book about cheating in Game Boy games. And it just taught you how to exploit Game Boy games. Like hidden codes, like how to turn on like different abilities and whatnot. Things you could do without a Game Ninja or a Game Shark or anything like that, or a Game Genie for you old heads. And I'm pretty sure that's where I learned, like in there it brought up the link trade thing you could do in Pokemon Red and Blue. You could probably do it in Silver and Gold too, where if you were trading via the link cable, if you yanked the cable as a certain dialogue was on the screen, the lowest level of the two Pokemon was deleted and both systems got the higher level Pokemon. So you just went and caught like a level 2 Pidgey and traded it for a level 3 or higher anything, and the level 3 Pidgey would be deleted and both people would get a copy of the higher level Pokemon. Which is how I finished my Pokedex, because none of my friends wanted to trade their Pokemon, right? Like, they're like, oh, that's my starter, I don't want to get rid of my starter, right? So I would I would be sitting there while they're like playing other things. They're just playing like Cops and Robbers or some other stupid shit, role playing, LARPing, and I would just be in the corner with my Game Boy and their Game Boy, just constantly turning Pidgeys into dust. just erasing Pidgey from existence over and over again, like a fucking monster. To get myself all the Pokemon that I didn't have in Red to finish up my Pokedex. And yeah, he got that Mew, and I taught him how to do that, so he could do that with all his friends to give them Mew. His name was like Liam. It wasn't Liam, like Liam O'Brien, like Critical Role. It was Liam, I think. His name was weird. Either his name was weird, or I couldn't pronounce it when I was very young, and I would mispronounce it all the time, and I just mispronounce it weird. I don't remember. I know it was one thing where my mother was always like, that's not his name. And I was just like, that's his name, though. And she's like, yeah, but that's not how you say it. And I'm like, oh, well. Yeah, I was a kid. He was a kid, too. He was only like a year, 2 years older than me, so. Well within range to put up with my shit. But, yeah. I see, but I never did that with like Gen 2 or Gen 3 as much as I liked them, right? I just, oh man, imagine, just thinking about the wasted time where I was just like playing through Spyro again, like I'm gonna go 130% Spyro instead of doing a shiny only living dex in Ruby and Sapphire. Or, like, I never considered in my life, until recently when I got into shiny hunting, like, resetting for a shiny legendary. And, like, thinking that I could right now in home have a shiny Groudon and a shiny Kyogre from my original Ruby back in the day, which I then, uploaded into a Pokemon Soul Silver and then threw that into the next gen via Poke Transfer. Like, because there was that park thing you could do in Silver, right? Where you could load up from the Game Boy Advance into Silver. And then you could trade from Silver, or you could use Poke Transfer from Silver to get it into black and white, and then send it through home from black and white to Jesus. Getting Pokemon from the old gens is a nightmare. They need to release a Pokemon collection for the virtual Switch emulator thing that they have, and give it access to Pokemon Home. Like, they just need to do that. Like, I would pay for a yearly subscription to the online service basically for the rest of my life if it meant I got access to Game Boy and Game Boy Advance Pokemon games on my Switch, where I could just shiny hunt in them, and then transfer Pokemon to home. Because I would be screaming a shiny only crystal or silver or gold. Absolutely. Holy shit, that would rock my socks. Alright. I think we got a few more encounters before I have to wrap it up, because it is getting close to 8:30. And I have other things to do before I go to bed for work tomorrow. Including just doing a lot of messaging. I think a lot of the people who I'd invite to the dinner tomorrow are like doing an event during the day where they're gonna go do like pottery in the village down the mountain. So I don't think they're gonna want to go to dinner after that. They're gonna be tired. Oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, Nintendo needs to fucking like. I just wish like we could get a bone. Like they do occasionally make things better in these Pokemon games, but then they also just make other things arbitrarily worse. And like killing the Nintendo 3DS, like the eShop for the DS, like breaks my heart that happened. It's just like game preservation, man. Like this is your history, this is your culture. Like why do you want to bury it? Like why don't you love? It's like, why don't you love me, Dad? All these other people love me, Dad. Why can't you love me? You know, it's just fucked up, man. I just want Nintendo to love these games as much as I love them, you know? Jesus. Oh man, emotionally we're just all over the place tonight. Where's that from? Oh, that's Will Smith. That's fucking Will Smith in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Why don't he love me, man? That was a good line. That was a good episode. I don't buy into the idea that was improvised. I don't believe that was improvised. I don't know. It's one of those like urban myths where it's just like, you know, I don't know. Most things I see about movies I just assume are fake. Oh, I hit A. Sorry. Come on, let's get Flame Charge up there. It's way easier to just go do that than have to move the stick every fight. Move it once, keep mashing the A button, that's what I always say. I'm gonna have to actually pay like some like astute attention to the story while we play through this game. So I can remember where to go and what I'm doing. Isn't there like not really a bad guy in this until you find out that like the dude who runs the whole region is like obsessed with like bringing a Pokemon Doomsday about to create infinite energy? I don't know, it's weird. This game is weird. Really good. I like everything about this game except maybe the narrative. And I don't love the reps, but whatever. I don't hate them either. They're just not my favorite. Scarlet and Violet has a good story once you ignore Nimona most of the time. Like, I actually really like Team Star being a group of kids who were being, like, mercilessly bullied. And teachers just being ineffectual to stop it. And them rallying together around a pair of charismatic victims and standing up for themselves and scaring all the bullies out of the school, and then really shitty teachers painting them as the bullies instead of as the victims, standing up for themselves to cover their own ass. And like the person who organized the whole team, like, leaving the school for a year because of all the bullying and, like, what happened, and needing to take a year off, and, like, everyone else being like, well, we're not going to the school without our friend. The whole point is, like, we are friends. I love Team Star's storyline. It's really good. They're not really antagonists, because you find out they're just, yeah, you know, it was just shitty adults covering their own mistakes and blaming kids for them, and kids just dealing with it the way kids do. I really like the Team Star storyline, and I like the storyline with Peppa or Irvin, whatever the fuck his name is. In Japanese, his name is Peppa, and I can't remember his English name right now. Arwen? I'm sorry. I played through Violet in Japanese one time, and also I live in Japan, so all his cards in the TCG all say Peppa. So I just know his name is Peppa. Like Pepper, which is a weird name for a kid, but alright. His storyline with his parent is also super good. And, like, super weird that, like, the AI parent seems way more interested in you. But, you know, whatever. There are parts of that storyline which I feel are a little weak, but overall I think it's very good. I didn't expect Nintendo to actually pull the bullet on, like, his parents just actually being fucking dead. I kind of called it, like, halfway through the story. I was like, your dad's dead. Or, well, it was Scarlet, so I was like, your mom's definitely dead. There's no way she's not dead with how this is going. Hey, Sea-Dog. You should have just as we're getting ready to wrap up. I'm just in, like, a mid-Scarlet and Violet rant about how much, like, 2 of the 3 storylines in that game are really good, and then the other one just exists. Which, you know, 2 out of 3, like, for Pokemon standards, that's pretty good. Because half the time you don't even get, like, one decent storyline out of the games. But, like, getting 2 out of 3 pretty good ones that, like, I remember everything about, it's pretty good. Doesn't hurt that I've played through Scarlet and Violet 3 times, which is a lot more than I typically play through Pokemon games. But I guess now that I'm doing Shield twice, and I'm talking about redoing other games as Shiny only, I guess I, as a person, have evolved into a new form who just replays Pokemon games more, which is cool. Cool and good. Alright, we're gonna go till I run out of PP here, so we got like 7 more encounters. And then we'll update the tracker before I go offline. I don't think I'm gonna be able to stream tomorrow, because I believe me and a coworker are going out for dinner, which will probably be most of my night. But the day after, I should be okay. I should be able to stream again. I do work late the next 2 nights after tomorrow, which, you know, sucks, but not too late. For this, if you're meaning, like, what is where the thing, like, peters out and there's no more, for, numbered battle, it's 500. 500 is the cap for Scarlet and Violet. Or for Sword and Shield, sorry. For the shiny odds. I think Squovit is pretty close to 500. I don't know if we've hit it, but we're probably close. But remember, it only counts for the brilliant version, so only when they show up with the yellow aura do we actually get it. The odds. So you get 3% odds that when a Squovit spawns, it will be brilliant. That is capped at 3% from my understanding of how the system works. We're getting there for Wooloo and Nickit, because I believe the 3% actually happens before 500. And then at 500, I think it's like 1 in 1,053 or something. That the 3% that spawn that are brilliant have the 1 in 5,000 or 1 in 1,000 odds instead of 1 in 4,000. But it only counts on the 3% of them that spawn with the aura. So it's still not great. it's still not optimal for sure. But I mean, it's as good as you're gonna get without the shiny charm in this game. I'm pretty sure, or without the raids, which are like 1 in 300, and then with the shiny charm they become 1 in 100. I mean, it's not bad. 1 in 1,000 is pretty good. It's just the problem is that only 3% of the ones we find will even get that bonus. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that. I brought this up earlier mid-rant when I was just like, they really should have made it like 15% of them end up being brilliant. All right, let's get to the Poké Center. Let's refill our PP, and then I'll update the tracker. Because it is 8:34 now, and I wanted to finish it around 8:30, but then I decided to finish my PP out. Hit me up. Thank you. Oh, nice. When I was finishing my Scarlet Pokedex, and I invited some friends in so we could evolve our Pelifins. I don't know. There's an evolution that is weird in Scarlet and Violet that required other people to be around for some reason. I don't remember why or which one it was. But I was going to show the guys like an outbreak. We were gonna go to an outbreak, and when we got to the outbreak, I was just walking around, and I didn't notice. No one noticed that the Tropius that was beside the lake we arrived at was shiny until I accidentally walked into it and noticed it was shiny, which was very funny to me. Plus, it helps that I got to catch the shiny, which I didn't have before, so I'm biased. All right, Squovit, are we over? All right, Wooloo, you're first. 230. Wow, that was like 60 Wooloo. That's pretty good. Squovit, 503. 503, we did hit 500. All right, Squovit, brilliant Squovits are currently maxed at their shiny odds. Nickit, we got like 60 Wooloo, 50 Nickit, and like 80 Squovit that time. That was pretty good. That's pretty decent. Which brings our total encounters to 885. I said we'd hit 800. I did not realize we'd be getting that close to 900. We're almost at 1,000 encounters already in like 6 hours. That's okay. All right, sure. I don't think it's amazing. I don't know at what level we're processing this, but it doesn't feel that bad or good. So it's kind of neutral. I'll take it though. We are at max odds for Squovit, which is pretty sweet. So Squovit, whenever we see a brilliant Squovit, I'm gonna pop off because it'll be a 1 in 1,000 chance to be shiny. All right, I am going to sign off. Have a good day at school, Sea-Dog. I am gonna have a good night, and I'll see you all in 2 days, hopefully. Bye.